What is sixth sense? We often talk about the sixth sense through smell, sight, touch, taste, and hearing are the only practical and significant senses known to science yet. After many observations and calculations, I concluded that the sixth sense is something we can feel but can't really tell others about it. That's why so many people are talking about it. But it is that difficult to understand? Because these five senses known to us have been working almost fine for myself, at least since birth, to observe the environment around. So the sixth sense must show the same characteristics and should be related to something between my body and the environment around me. I thought, let's keep it simple. Though these known five senses are not as simple as we considering them here, but let's assume to actually know what is the sixth sense actually. Maybe it is too existing to be noticed like air. So why sixth sense can't be gravity? And to be precise, it can't be gravity, which is g is equal to 9.8 meter per second square, but gravitational force, which is capital G, that is equal to 6.67430 raised to the power 10 raised to the power minus 11 Newton meter per kilogram square. Gravity in physics is defined as the force of attraction applied to a freely falling object or body by the surface of the earth, which is 9.8 meter per second square, derived from the Newton's second law of motion, that is F is equal to ma, where F is equal to force, m is equal to mass of the body, and a is equal to acceleration. While gravitational force is the attractive force existing between any two bodies or objects in the universe that have mass located at any distance. In 1687, English mathematician Sir Isaac Newton published principle which hypothesizes the inverse square law of universal gravitation. In his own words, I deducted that the forces which keep the planets in their orbit must be reciprocally as the squares of their distances from the centers about which they revolve, and thereby compared the force required to keep the moon in her orbit with the force of gravity at the surface of the earth, and found them answer pretty nearly. The equation is the following: F is equal to G multiplied by m1 and m2 divided by r square, that is Newton's law of universal gravitation, where F is the force, m and m2 are the masses of the objects interacting, r is the distance between the centers of the masses, and g is the gravitational constant. Well, let's not get too much into the scientific details of this matter and talk more into layman's language. Here in the blog, for better understanding, if it turns out to be research, then I will publish it in a science forum with much more facts and formulas someday, but before that, let's first try to understand it in a general manner. The human body is indeed an intelligent design that is still evolving and adopting. An interesting fact is all other living beings do have access to these senses, but they can never talk about it. They can never write about it in any language or can educate other of their kind. They can just get affected by the environment and react accordingly while having these senses. I, for a very long period, used to call them the lower conscious beings. I wasn't wrong technically, but the changing times and extreme of human brutality in this world changed my vision, and I noticed that animals are more in their senses than modern day humans. There comes a time in your life when you look at this natural world with no such man made boundaries and you try to communicate with plants, fishes, birds, and animals. Trust me, it is a very stress busting exercise to do when you realize the existence of a parallel world apart from your personal relationships, monetary, and health issues. It's a huge and bigger world than actually we imagine. I won't say these man made boundaries are purposeless, but talking of sixth sense, we often neglect it and forget the fact that we are on the earth. While often minor injuries caused by coming in contact with other existing objects or bodies keep us on the ground, and with galactic harmony of the universe, especially when our brain thinks too much or gets stuck somewhere. In a way, this sixth sense helps us survive just like the other five. By Chanakya Shukla.